This week, I received a screener for a new thriller written and directed by Aaron Warren, Todd. Todd comes to VOD March 16th. Todd, played by Hans Hernk, is a troubled man who seems to have been dealt a never-ending bad hand. He goes to see a therapist, Dr. Miller, played by Aaron Jackson. Miller really needs his own therapist and should not be dealing with people in a fragile mental state. Todd's bad past, compounded with the more recent death of his parents, comes to a boiling point when his therapist all but dismisses him. Out in the world, Todd is supposed to be trying to socialize and find a job. Presumably, that's the setup for when Todd runs into Amy, played by Laura Stetman. They literally bump into each other, and Todd is needlessly hostile. Now, I get his character doesn't know how to socialize, but the movie tries to play it in a way that you're also supposed to feel sympathetic. I don't think you can do both, at least not in this case. Amy has her own issues, and makes some really poor decisions that we all see coming from a mile away. That leaves her in a fragile place, and apparently gives her face blindness. After a few odd encounters, Todd breaks into her apartment to force her into a date at gunpoint, and she doesn't recognize him because he took his glasses off. There are a lot of elements at work here that never quite blend into a whole. Having a mentally damaged person suffering from mental trauma go on a rampage is a movie idea. Whether that's played as a villainous acting out or a mentally broken man is up to the movie. Unfortunately, Todd never makes a choice on this subject. The angry therapist who's causing a divide in his home life is given a lot of attention, more than the titular Todd for large parts of the movie. Once again, I see what this ingredient is. I get that his personal life is causing him to be bad at his job. We're just never given a compelling enough reason as to why. I can't think of anything more about this guy than, hey, he's a dick. In my opinion, the movie would have been far stronger if this was either developed or scaled back to focus on the titular character's journey. Amy is the third storyline going on. Yet again, sorry, broken record time, I see what the movie was trying to do with her. I understand that Todd would like her, and he ended up coveting her. I never got the feeling that this was due to Todd's mental state. It always felt like he was being menacing and predatory on purpose. If Amy had been more of a sympathetic character who acted totally normally to Todd, and he took it to mean that way more than intended and got obsessed, I could get behind that. I didn't understand a man intentionally trying to prey on a girl and then having the movie try to tell me he's someone we should feel sorry for. There are pacing issues galore. Each story thread seems to be its own misshapen part crammed together with loose understanding. You can definitely see what was being attempted, but without deciding on which path to take, it never quite gels. The cast is serviceable. Hans Hernk played disjointed and creepy, but it leaks into menace far too much when the movie doesn't exactly seem sure it should. Aaron Jackson plays angry, and that's about it. Even when he dumps the exposition letting us know we should feel bad for Todd, he sounds sarcastic and agitated. Laura Stetman is perhaps the most sympathetic character. She's cutesy and mostly innocent. She falls prey to a couple terrible things, so you can feel some sympathy for her character. Unfortunately, her scenes are wooden and stilted. Jason Menz and Michael Winslow play supporting roles that are given too much time. Menz plays a slimy actor who takes advantage of Amy's naivete. A level of naivety so huge it wades into flat-out stupidity. His forced laugh is a cartoon character holding up a sign that says, "Stay away." Michael Winslow is an actor who was in a slew of iconic 80s comedies, for better or worse. He plays a bartender who makes some sound effects when he pours his drinks and is the only person the therapist is ever nice to. I don't really know why he was in this. I really hate to be so brutal on anyone's hard work. The cast and crew obviously didn't set out to make a bad movie. The script needed some cleaning up, and a more definitive decision on different story arcs would have gone a long way to fixing things. Some elements could have been cut altogether to focus on the main plots. Todd comes to VOD March 16th. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more new movie coverage. We also have a lot of interviews coming your way. You aren't going to want to miss out. Remember to listen to Subwizard Podcast every single week wherever you get your podcasts. Subwizard Podcast can also be found on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get multiple monthly bonus shows. SubWizardPodcast.com is your resource for reviews, recommendations, videos, merchandise, and more. We love hearing feedback, so drop us a note in the comments or get a hold of us on social media. All of our accounts can be found after the show and in the show notes. On a more personal note, this past January I released a comic book along with a good friend of mine, Social Studies. It's a day-in-the-life comedy comic about the typical high school experience. We have a cast of unique characters with a lot of individuality. The art style is greatly inspired by the cartoons of the 90s we grew up on. Check it out at socialstudiescomic.com. Thanks.